Hey everybody, Webimoto here, and welcome to episode 16 of our F1 2018 career mode. We're off to Texas. I mean, if the description, if you're on YouTube, if the description didn't give it away, we're off to Texas. And I'm just going to hit the button to go. I hope everybody's had a great week. It's been a long week. I'm glad it's there. Hey Hip Hip, it's good to see you, man. It's been a long week. Even though Monday was a public holiday, it's still been a long week. Very, very happy that it's Friday night my time, and yeah, looking forward to a few days off. Heading bush tomorrow. Heading out to town for a camping trip. So it'll be no stream tomorrow afternoon. We may get one in the morning. We'll see how we go. But yeah, off out of town for a day, get a break from the computer and reconnect with nature, and probably reconnect with a little bit of alcohol while I'm there. Because why not? Because life is fun. You have to enjoy yourself. And just make sure I don't abuse or get a bit rowdy with Senate Judiciary members while I'm doing it. Who knows what might come out of that. But anyway, COTA it is. I don't mind COTA as a track in all honesty, but my results there have never really been that fantastic. We need to take a new ice, so we're taking penalties this weekend. Everything else is okay and will probably last out the season. But we need to take a new ice, a new MGUH, and a new turbocharger. 23% worn. I'm tempted just to take a new everything, you know, and just start last, be done with it. Yeah, got some pale ale down here. Yeah. I'm definitely planning on having a little bit of fun. We're just gonna take a new everything. There's no point limiting the penalties. If we're gonna take 30, we may as well take 60, you know. So that's that. That will keep us going until the end of the season. But there's no point wearing it out, so we'll take. We will have to actually put it in the car. That's a fair point, game. Thank you for that. Oh, good. Let's just go to practice. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, hope everybody's having a cracking Friday. Be at the start of it or the end of it, depending on where you are around the world. Best day of the working week, Friday. But obviously trumped by Saturdays and Sundays, which are just far superior. As long as you're working a normal work week, of course. If you're not, well, you know, I'm talking trash right now. So.
In Texas, USA, for the start of what is sure to be another.
And regular followers of the channel will know that I was at this track last year. It's good fun.
Races over the past couple of years, thanks to the current 3-tyre compound system, and of course the groundwork for all those strategies comes from the free practice sessions like this one. So, what do you think of the current tyre regulations?
Well, they've created some, I wouldn't say exciting necessarily, but certainly
knew he was going to do that.
Races.
I knew it.
There have been a lot more questions around, like how long can someone stay out on this set, or will they have the pace to catch another car if they suddenly bolted on a set of ultra softs, things like that. When everything comes together, we end up with multiple cars, nose to tail on different tyres, all fighting for track position. So on the whole, it's definitely been a positive step, I feel, for the sport.
I wonder if we'll get a livery update for the Ferrari after this weekend. Anyways, let's choose a setup to put on the car. COTA. Quite twisty. Probably got a bit in common with Bahrain. How much wing did I have on for Bahrain? Yeah, feeling it. Let's roll. Let's do that.
We'll make the changes you requested.
Weather, dry. Oh, that makes life easy, doesn't it? Track climatization. Let's do it. Make sure I'm in camera shot. Jazz hands. 45 place grid penalty. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to start in New York. But at least it's in the same country. Oh, that's gone well. Oh, I'm having this stuttering thing. I'm having this stuttering problem. That wasn't good. Let's just do that. I think I'm having this stuttering thing that I was having the other day. If I'm having that... Yeah, I am. So I did fix this the other day. Merely by restarting the game. So that's what we're going to do. Sorry, guys. Yeah, anyway, everyone who was watching the other day, I forget what race it was. I can't remember. But I had issues with the game conking out every few seconds, and it's just no good. You just can't play it. I had an NVIDIA driver yesterday. No, I don't have an NVIDIA card. I got an AMD card. It happened the other day, and the game was just doing that every second, just like a brief stutter. And for anyone who's driven a racing game or a sim, it's bloody impossible. Like, it just there's not much worse than things like that happening. So I know that I restarted the game the other day and it fixed it. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that resolves it. Thankfully, the game's pretty quick to restart. Sorry about that. There's not even any point testing it, because the other day when it happened, I tested it and it was fine, and then got in the car and it was like I'd done some time trial stuff and it was fine, and then got in the car for a career mode and it was doing it, and it just wrecks it. You can't do anything. It should have remembered that we put a custom setup on the car.
Welcome to today's practice session here in off.
Already watched that. Go away, Crofty. So hopefully that seems fine. Oh, one too many. Alright, let's try that. Of course, it's the Bathurst 1000 this weekend as well. As an Australian, it's the biggest motorsport event that happens here. Oh, it's still happening. Ah, frig you, game. I can't remember what track it was at where it was happening. I'd have to go back and have a look at my videos. It might have been Russia. Or was it Singapore? I think, actually, now that I think about it, I think it was Singapore. Yeah, well done, Matt. Oh, this is really annoying. Wow, he missed it by 20. No, I'm not going to get it now. Oh, green it is. Actually, I think what I actually did the other day, now that I think about it, was maybe there wasn't the restart that fixed it. It might have been the closing of the other stuff that I had going on that resolved it. Give me just a memento here. Just kill those things. Kill that. Didn't you change the settings tight? Yeah, I did, but it's been working fine since then. So we might quickly do the tire management one, and what we'll do is we'll restart the game because I don't want to have to do like acclimatization again. So we'll do the tire management, and then in between practice 1 and practice 2, we'll restart the game. Mind you, this automatically feels better, so it could be a one of those apps I just closed that was causing it. This is better. Alright, let's see what we can do for tire wear. I'm not doing well for time, am I? No, I didn't. I was at work. The great thing about Suzuka is it's on at the same time when I'm, it's on in the middle of the day, but for us in Australia, however, no, this isn't going very well. Yeah, I'm distracted. I'm gonna have to do this on the last lap. No, I didn't watch anyone because I was at work. That's the short answer. And I will admit to a certain level of distaste towards the sport at the moment, after the events of Russia. Kinda looks like we're gonna struggle to do this, doesn't it? That feels like a lot more than 50 meters. You mean team orders? Yep, I do. Now, before anyone says anything, I hated it when Ferrari did it. The numerous times that Ferrari did it. So I'm not being inconsistent. I mean, I've got no problem with people who don't have a problem with it. I just disagree. I think it robs the sport when you're swapping drivers for the win like that. How am I supposed to pass this test now with these two jokers in front of me? Oh, I'm losing all kinds of time. Fuck you, Kimmy. Sorry. I'm just going to retry that, because that last one was wrecked by those two idiots. Yeah, what it done was it, like, what good for the sport was it to have two drivers on the podium who didn't even want to be there? You know, how's that good look for the sport? The answer is it's not. There's no way that it can be. Hamilton didn't want to celebrate the win. And clearly Bottas didn't want to be there either, so what was the point? How are you even supposed to celebrate the race when it's like that? The answer is you can't. So you're robbing the sport of its most fundamental thing, which is celebrating the winner of the race. You can't do it. Like, you're robbing the sport of something very, very fundamental. I guess it's not very nice to see. However, Mercs have got to do what they have to do, I guess. Depends on how you see the sport. Do you want every race to be a good contest, or are you just a little worried about the championship at the end of the season? I mean, I understand the realism, but, you know, the realistically, of course, Merc's going to do what they have to do. But when you do that, you remove something colossally important to the sport. It's still too slow. I mean, I fully understand that it's part of the sport, and, you know, Mercedes is clearly in it to win championship, but it's just not. It's such a bad look. It's such a colossally bad look. How are we losing tyre performance down the straight? You might want to explain that one to me, game. Oh man, we still can't do the time. Oh, go to hell, game. How the bloody hell did I miss that? Now I'm getting cranky. Now I've locked up. If this is an omen, we're gonna be in terrible shape for the weekend. Hey Mikos, welcome to the channel. Good to see you again. This is not going well for us, this test. This is going awful. We got the time, but we got heavy tire wear. Screw it, game. Cody's fixes so you change the difficulty between sessions, but I'd rather you don't make the objective time so unrealistic. Gonna go faster next lap. Yeah, well, thanks, No Dog. But yeah, no, that sucks. Like, that honestly sucked. I was pushing. I had it on hot lap, and I still couldn't do the time. Carlos Sainz is fastest. Yeah, good work.
Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Thank you for joining us for free practice today. We'll be back with more Formula
That's
1 action
colossally
very
slow.
shortly.
I don't feel like I was driving badly. Rip Bottas at Russia. What a G up. We were just talking about that. Mercedes should be ashamed of themselves. Doing a great disservice to the sport. That was not good. Someone's bar moved. I don't know who it was. I heard the noise, but I don't know who it was for. So let's not put unnecessary wear onto good components. Actually, no, let's put those on. I'm struggling for pace as it is. It's going to be no good. But we can certainly put that back in the car, and that back in the car, and that back in the car. Like I said, it's not great to see, but I can see what I can. As I said, Hip, I can certainly understand why they did it, but it does a lot of damage to the sport to do it. It really, really does. Because you got to the end of the race, and who's celebrating? Like, we've just watched a 2-hour race. It wasn't a bad race, but who's celebrating? Who was celebrating to win? No one. Hamilton didn't really want to win the race. I mean, obviously from a championship perspective, he wanted to win it. I mean, he didn't celebrate. Bottas couldn't celebrate. Who's happy? Who's happy with that? No one's happy with that. So, Merc can get stuffed. And I said the same thing about Ferrari when they did it. I can perfectly understand why they did it, but it does the sport a massive disservice. It really, really does. Yeah, and all it does is just, it robs the sport of people even doing the most fundamental thing of celebrating a win. What's the point of having a race if you get to the end of the race? I had the same criticism of Rosberg and Hamilton back when they were the world's worst teammates at Mercedes, because whoever finished on second looked like they just had their cat run over. And that's the problem. You've got the other problem where you've got a really dominant team and it's only a race in between two drivers. The guy who finishes second feels like he's lost. I'm just sick of Mercedes as a team. I don't like the way they operate. Bloody hell! I am not getting that first corner right at all. We're already a long way down. Mercedes are trophy horse. I mean, they just want to win. I mean, good on them, but... There's a right way to win and there's a wrong way to win. Mercedes always find a wrong way to win. They always find a way to win that just upturns everybody's nose at them, except for the Hamilton fans. I'm not going to get anywhere near this time. I don't understand why I'm so far off it. I don't feel like I'm driving it badly. I clearly am. They trash the sport for points. I mean, all teams will do that for that, but yeah. Oh, now it's just way too late on the brakes. This is not going to be my best weekend in this career, I can tell you. Red Bull does everything right. They have Verstappen who crashes a lot, and then Ricciardo, Mr. Smiley Funny Boy. Hope Suzuka is better. Oh, me too. It's funny because Red Bull, you know, obviously got a lot of flack when they were dominating the sport. But they never pretended that it was closer than it was, like Mercedes do. You know, they yeah, Red Bull just did it better. And they did it when the rules were constantly changing underneath them to try and slow them down. None of that's been going on with Mercedes. Certainly for a long time, Mercedes were very well protected by the rules of the sport, particularly around power unit development. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's not get all negative about F1. I'm bitter on it after Russia. I think robbing a driver of a win is the worst thing you can do as a team. Wins are so hard to come by if you're anyone but Bottas or sorry, if you're anyone but Hamilton or Vettel. And they have the team say, well, you're not going to have this one because they're going to give it to the guy who wins all the time anyway for his championship battle. That's just sad and disappointing. So yeah, can I understand it? Sure, I can understand it. Do I think it was the right thing for him to do? No, I don't. I think it was the wrong thing to do. For the sport, for the fans, for their drivers. Toto Wolff can suck it. Oh, I missed it by... Ooh, shove it, game. Why make it so hard? I don't understand why it has to be so hard. Hope Red Bull stays with as long as McLaren has been. Hope every team stays in for a long time. Yeah, you know the team that's actually most likely to leave? Mercedes. The irony of that. Mercedes start losing, and then they'll up stumps and leave the sport, guaranteed. The team with the least long-term commitment to Formula One is Mercedes. And if you disagree, come at me and tell me why I'm wrong, and I'll tell you why I think I'm right. Yeah, I'd be happy to see the back of them. Formula One will learn one day, but it hasn't learned yet. The number one group you don't pander to are the manufacturers, because the manufacturers up stumps as soon as it doesn't make sense anymore. They're not racing teams. Williams has more racing spirit than Mercedes does. Mercedes brought the Brawn team. But Mercedes are happy at the moment because they're winning. But they're going into Formula E as well. As soon as they stop winning in Formula One and Ferrari starts beating them or whatever, excuse me, they're not going to hang around. Yes, it was, yeah. I feel like I might not be carrying enough wing. That might be what's hurting us. But I'm starting at the back anyway, so I want to be able to overtake cars. McLaren is manufactured, but they're F1 team first. Yeah. That's like Ferrari. The only reason the Ferrari car division exists is to pay for their Formula One team. Freaking hell. Making up time on the straight, that's what's making me think that we're carrying not enough wing. Oh, we got one, but it took us absolutely hacking up the penultimate corner to do it. Wow, the targets feel tough around here. Look at that. It's the first one we got. Yeah, well, we missed out on them, so we're not going to go back and do them again.
As all the cars are now over the line, your top three again are Raikkonen, Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas.
But Ferrari and McLaren are the guys who made F1 what it is. And their crazy battles like Lauda and Hunt. Yeah, I mean, not only that. Ferrari, McLaren and Williams have made Formula One. You know, they're bedrock teams. They're Formula One teams. Mercedes isn't a Formula One team. When you get down to it, the teams like Sauber and even Red Bull, but less so. But teams like Sauber, they're the ones who have been in Formula One. They exist only as Formula One teams, right? And they live and die by Formula One. They're the ones who are invested in the sport, and yet they have the Force India is another example, and yet they have such a small amount of say compared to a team like Mercedes, and even to a lesser extent Red Bull, but definitely Mercedes. Because Mercedes got all the money, and yet Mercedes is a team that will pull the rug out from under their team and walk away from the sport the minute it doesn't make any financial sense. And yet the Formula One spends so much time pandering to manufacturers who just up and walk away. Look at the 2009 aero regulations that they brought in, right? They made fundamental, massive upheaval changes to the sport. To improve overtaking, and even if you rewind to getting rid of the V10s and bringing in the V8s, all to pander to BMW, Toyota, Honda, and they all up stumps inside 2 years and left the sport. And you create this void where Red Bull manages to walk in and win 4 world titles in a row, because you create this power vacuum that Ferrari couldn't fill. Yeah, and yet they do it again. They done it with the hybrid power unit regulations. They created those regulations merely to pander to Renault, to Mercedes. Ferrari didn't want those regulations, to pander to Renault, Mercedes, and to try and attract other manufacturers in the sport. Honda has turned everyone else away from that because everyone's realized how bad it is. So they do it again, and all that happens is the sport loses. And then if you think if Mercedes if they had have turned around and they had have been in Red Bull's position for the last few years, they would have already left. The only reason Mercedes is still there is because they started winning. Never pander to manufacturers. Make the sport appealing enough for racing teams, and then let the racing teams attract the manufacturers. The manufacturers just, I'm going to swear, the manufacturers just fuck everything. And they just wreck it. So, that's that. Did you know that Lexus LFAS has an F1 V10? That's cool. That's awesome. Bring those cars back. Instead, we've got these hybrid things. And I'm not going to rubbish it. We're well into the era now. It is what it is. But the whole reason that we have these engines is to pander to engine manufacturers. Screw them. Get rid of them. Have Ferrari and Cosworth and these small little engine manufacturers making simple V10s. How cool would that be? But no, I've got to have these things to pander to Mercedes and Renault. And how long are they going to hang around for? Everyone, and not only that, just remember also that everyone's like, oh, Mercedes has got this long history in the sport, even as an engine manufacturer. No, they don't. They were badged Ilmor engines. They were made by Ilmor, Mario Ilian and Paul Morgan. And they just badged them as Mercedes for some sponsorship. They weren't made by Mercedes. Mercedes has only actually been in there since since they really bought the team, and they came in with Norbert Haug. So, yeah, I don't like them. I don't like their approach to the sport, and I don't like the fact that F1's fundamentally changed for these teams, and these teams will up stumps from it, and then the real racing teams have been left in the dust. Williams, Force India, Sauber, they're just left in the dust. Yeah, Ferrari's a racing team. Yeah, Ferrari is the old guard. Ferrari's the oldest team in the sport. Not that I think that Ferrari should have the rules written around them, but the small teams, they exist only in Formula One. They should actually be given the most say about what the rule structure is, not the least say. Why has Mercedes got the most say? Why has Red Bull got the most say? I mean, Red Bull's a bit different, but Mercedes has a huge amount of clout because they're a manufacturer. I couldn't care less. Get them out of there. They want what's best. They want the best for the sport. I think I know what you're trying to say, and I agree. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I've added some gear. I don't want to sit here just lamenting Formula One. We've put some wing on the car to try and help us in the middle and last sector. We'll see how it goes for us. Do our race stint. But yeah, anyway, I'll back up with what I'm saying just by saying I've been watching Formula 1 for a long time. I'm not a fly-by-night fan. I've been watching the sport for nigh on 30 years. It's always been my favourite sport. I love it to death. So everything I say out of love and frustration. I don't say out of any kind of hatred. I've seen how this goes before, and it just annoys me that it's the racing teams that don't get the say and the support and the love that they deserve. It's always about money and manufacturers. And people, you know, in terms of a history lesson, you've only got to look at 2009, 2010 to see what the last suite of manufacturers did to the sport. They just left it. They walked away wholesale because there was a change of regulations and they didn't win from it. And the same would have happened with Mercedes in 2014 if they hadn't have been the team that won the lottery. And yet, here we are pandering to them and just watching them, you know, wreck the sport with their silly freaking team orders at Russia. Robbing a guy who's only won a handful of, you know, a couple of Grand Prix in his career, hasn't won one all season, just to give the other guy a bigger up in the championship. Sad. And taking I might also say they've been taking the F1 fan base for fools for the last 4 years. Miles away from the lap time we need to do. This is really difficult. They've just spent some more time driving and less time whinging. I'm really struggling. I know another sport you might like, which I found on YouTube, ostrich racing. They all stop and stick their head in the sand. Sounds like administrators. Because of electric engine, people that see Honda engines fail when they go buy a car, they look at Honda, say the engine sucks and I don't want to fix the engine every 5 seconds. But no, Honda engines are most reliable. Yeah. There's no correlation. Like, just because their F1 engines are historically been, you know, they were unreliable or underperformed, it's got nothing to do with their road car. The road cars are perfectly fine. It's where the win on Sunday, sell on Monday mentality falls over. Is like the whole reason, you know, they go, oh, manufacturers love motorsport because they can use it to sell their cars. And it's like, yeah, they do that when they're winning. What happens when they don't win? Does it work the other way around? It does. They're not winning, then they're not the best anymore, and no one buys their car. It's a double-edged sword. Stop pandering to them is what I'm trying to say. If I'd have been running the sport back in, you know, sort of 2010, and Mercedes came to me and said, you know, you have to change the engine regulations to hybrids, otherwise we're going to leave, it would have been like, there's the door. Catch you later. You and Renault, see you later. Someone's going to come in and fill the void. We'll get Cosworth or someone like that. Missed out again. I'm not an F1 for a long time. Every time I saw her, I was like, that's shit now. I'm addicted because of the games. Yeah, that's right. It is about the games. Yet we went for so long without a yearly F1 game. It was awful. As someone who's always played the games. There's a lot of teams that want in, yeah, they just can't afford it because the sport's too expensive. It's another problem the manufacturers cause. They come in and just spend colossal amounts of money and then make everything too expensive. And that's been happening forever. That's not new. Come on. Let's try and get a lap time here, yeah? Got one. Ah! What was that? I now love F1 because of the cars and the community's strategy. Then let's go back to when engines were pieces of shit. Let's just rewind that. I'm worried this Renault is going to hold me up as well. Come on, Nico, you just came out of the pits. Get out of the fucking way. Sorry guys, I'm a bit sweary tonight, aren't I? Long week. I'm having to hustle this car to get to the lap times, though. And there were loads of teams. Yeah, I want us to go back to the days when we had too many cars and we had to have pre-qualifying. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. He's just out of the pits. The AI doesn't do enough to get out of your way as they're on their outlaps. Hey, look at that. 2 lap times in a row. He goes slowing people down since he joined the sport. He's got a pole position to his name. He took pole position that day by like 1.2 seconds as well, because in the drying conditions at Brazil. I like Nico as well. I think he's a good driver. I think he's just always been in bad cars, and whenever he's had a chance at a good result, he's bowled it. Thanks, mate. I don't like him very much at the moment, mind you. I'm gonna have to do some time to get the time back here. Hey, look at that. We got another purple. Alright. So, qualifying pace. I want this season to end. I don't care who takes home. I just want to see Mercedes struggle next season. Yeah, mate, I've been saying that for a few years. Because Force Indy with their engine's going to be a force. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. What's going to happen next season? Ferrari and Mercedes will have an even bigger gap over the field next season, I reckon. I hate to break your heart. But I expect Ferrari and Mercedes and the gap third to be even bigger because of Red Bull's move to Honda. Wish it wasn't so, but I think it's going to be so. I hope Renault can step forward as well. But I'm not convinced that they can. We'll see. I hope Honda over-deliver next year. Oh, sorry. That snuck up on me. Alright, let's do this. Oh, I hope Red Bull wins as well. That'd be great. Just somebody else to win, even if it's Leclerc. Imagine if he comes in and shocks everyone. That'd be great. I went too deep then. Too deep. Excuse me. I think Honda enders up be bad. We'll see. Quarter of a second. What have we got? I think Mercedes will walk the next 2 years. Yeah, I think you might be right, not solo gamers. I want McLaren to come back. They're legends and they need to come back. Yeah, McLaren and Williams, but they're both... Williams is dead at this point, but yeah, anyway. I kind of hope Vettel and Hamilton leave the sport at the end of 20 so we can get some new faces winning races. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Just some new faces at the front winning. Just sick of seeing the same guys win all the time, you know. But I lived through Michael Schumacher's entire career, so you know, it's not new for me to watch the same guy winning over and over again. No, we're not going to hit it this lap either, are we? Oh, I think we just got hit. Damn it. I'm not going to be able to recharge the old battery either. Get a better lap out of the We'll see if we run out of revs by the end of the Whoops. Slightly offline, that's what happens. This is so not going well. Hey Anto, welcome to the stream, man. You got a new name? Must be a new one. I'm happy to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. God, our pace sucks. Yeah, maybe. I don't think so, though. I think it's just in this qualifying trim. That was a better last sector for us, but no, we haven't made it work. Do you like Alonso? Yep, think he's best driver under grid, and I'm disappointed that he's leaving the sport, and I'm disappointed that the sport's so uncompetitive that there's nothing he can do to go anywhere. Just ignore the podiums unless it's a Red Bull or other teams. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this doesn't matter anyway. We have a 45 place grid penalty. We're going to be starting in bloody San Diego. So it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, it looks like I'm just really struggling for pace here, or the target lap times are really, really hard to get to. I'm slightly off Pierre. It's not, the gap's not big, it's like 3/10. And I did not hook up any of those laps. My best lap was my first lap. And I went really deep into the braking zone, into the back straight. Messed it up. Couldn't agree more. Love Alonso. Yep. Just ignore that snow dog. My Nightbot's upset. But I will override that. Don't worry about it. I don't even know what it's why was it not happy with you? You said something that it didn't like, but don't worry about that. It's all good. Have to pay respects to Alonso. Yeah, don't worry about that. I've got the Nightbot there, so you can do cool things like type in, if you type in ! wheel, it'll tell you what kind of wheel I've got, because a lot of people are always asking me all the time what kind of wheel this is. So I decided to put that on there. So it may be a little bit, painful whilst I bed it in and get used to its settings. So just bear with me. I have high expectations for you this session. Emma, I have a 45 place grid penalty. I'll be lucky to start on the same continent. Ah, right. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I didn't realize it was actually going to moderate stuff, so I'll address that in between sessions. So, yeah, there you go. Look at that. That's what it's supposed to do. Let's put the good stuff back in the car, yeah? It's already in the car. That's fine. That's fine. I'll live with that. So it's really only that. Let's do it. This doesn't matter anyway, because we're starting, like I said, we're going to start dead last. So.
We're expecting qualifying to start any minute here in Austin, Texas, where drivers will be hoping to top the timesheets today and be ready for tomorrow's US Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this.
I want 1,000 horsepower back in F1. I think they do that now, don't they? I think in qualifying they get 1,000. They get 1,000 base horsepower.
Right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver.
That is Fernando.
Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board.
Just FYI for everybody who's in here, you know, is saying, you know, halo this, halo that. I've met Fernando Alonso.
Let's get started.
There you go. Press F if you've met Fernando Alonso. I'll just press F on the keyboard. Alright. This is going to be hard. Let's just do it. Let's just see what this is like on the real things. Yeah, I met a I met a lot of F1 people a few years ago because I was doing work for Giancarlo Fisichella. I don't know if any of you guys would remember Fisi, but there you go. My mate Fisi. And obviously he was teammates with Alo when he was winning championships at Renault. And yeah, I was lucky enough to meet a lot of F1 people in that time. It's a few years ago now though. So when I say that I'm a long-time aficionado of the sport, I'm not lying. Not a 5-minute fan who you know, who isn't happy because his driver's not winning. I haven't really followed any driver in particular since Fisi left the sport. But I am partial to Fernando, although I wasn't when they were teammates. Daniel because we're compatriots, and Hulkenberg because I think Hulkenberg's underrated. Ah, yeah, that was an interesting way to take that corner. I got away with that. I think Charlie be robbing me of that lap time. Oh dear. Anyway, is that enough to get us through Q1? We're 2.5 seconds off, so I'd say that's not enough to get us through. 25.5 first sector. 0.5 second off Ricardo. 37.9 middle sector. Slower than everybody except Stroll. 30.7 last sector. Uncompetitive. I reckon this is going to look really bad for us once these times filter through. Yeah, there it is. 18th. Gasly on a 33.5. 9/10 faster than us. Woof. And I say woof because I'm clearly driving like a dog. This isn't working at all, is it? I really don't know why. I don't feel like I'm driving badly, but it's just not happening. Whoa! What do you want me to do there, game? When that idiot comes out of the freaking pits, right? And he just stays on the racing line. I'm on and out. You're on an out lap. Fuck off. Look how much time that cost me. I mean, trying to get it back the whole bloody... the whole sector. we found a tenth and a half. That's not enough. I think the car's just shit this track. Yeah, it's a combination of me and the car at this track for sure. This is my worst qualifying session, I reckon, in terms of just having no pace and getting absolutely belted by my teammate. Look at that, dead last. Wow, dead last. I think that's the first time that's happened. We're 1.1 off our teammate. We'll just move on from that, yeah. We'll see how we go in the race. That's disgraceful. It's absolutely terrible. Oh, if I was Franz Tost, I would certainly be sacking me from the team. Even though I'm sixth in the championship and going better than Ricardo. No, apologies for my Franz Tost impression. Oh, this is going to get real bad on the rivalry front.
So, unfortunately, we've picked up some grid penalties, and we'll be starting further back than you expect. As for how bad it is, that'll depend on what the other drivers get.
Buy me a pizza. Mate, I'm a driver, I can't even eat the bloody thing. God, this guy's got no concept. Alright. Maybe we can get an idea from... I mean, it's not going to help us for this race. I'll finally get the word out, don't worry. You can get an idea from when we're in traffic as to where we're really losing the time. Because I don't have a feeling for where I'm losing the time.
What fantastic enthusiasm we have for Formula One here in the United States of America. And it's an enthusiasm born from generations of memorable Grand Prix racing. Bruce McLaren took his maiden victory at Sebring way back in 1959, and John Watson's 1983 victory at Long Beach, well, that still holds the record for the lowest ever starting position for a race winner. We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn
Hey,
1 and
Lelo.
12,
Welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. And yes, now you are here. So clearly things are just going to get better from here. So that's I'll be happy about that, because this has not gone well so far.
With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk briefly about Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying.
Snow Dog. Very good.
It's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Vettel, Esteban Ocon, and Magnussen. Ricciardo, Alonso, Perez, and Valtteri Bottas. Gasly, Ericsson, Nico Hülkenberg, and Leclerc.
Oh, that's no
They've
good.
taken a grid penalty. Van Dorn, Sirotkin, Lance Stroll, and Wood. Sainz,
I'm not even last. I took 45
grid.
place grid penalty. I'm not even last.
It's time to
Well done,
head down
game.
to the track.
I thought I was going to start in Iberia.
It's a steep incline into turn 1 that'll help you scrub speed off. There are multiple lines, so be sure to make use of them.
We're definitely one stopping this race. There's no doubt about that. Let's just do it.
Let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
Giving an idea in the AI's line. I just really don't know where I'm losing time, particularly when I was around the AI. Like, they didn't seem fundamentally that much faster than me, so I'm just confused as to where we're losing time. What is Stroll doing? Oh, hang on. I am in the right position. I thought it was... Oh, I'm getting lost. Where is Stroll? Yeah, I thought there was... So the thing says he's in front of me, but he's actually not. So I was right. I'm confused, but he is behind me. So he's in the wrong spot. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, good. So we're all sorted out. We know which one's Snow Dog. Very good. We're driving AI. Alright, so let's say how badly we can... we're on the right side of the track. Let's say how bad we can dive bomb. We'll get a shocking start, I can tell you now. Cool, no worries, Snow Dog. All good. I didn't mean that. Too busy messing with controls. That's what you get, Ericsson, for screwing me up at the last corner. Get out of the bloody way. Oh, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Snow Dog. I'm obviously all for a lively chat box, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like we've got a lot of players today. Oh man, I've outbroke myself again down there. Cost me a lot of time. I mean, we might be the fun of the super soft queue. I mean, look, it doesn't look like our pace is that bad. So I just don't get it. And yes, it's only the second lap. And everybody's still jostling for position, but still. I bet you're also playing FIFA, plus you have a chatty wife. Yep. Happy wifey, happy lifey, yeah.
DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone.
Look at that Bottas battling there with that McLaren. Yeah, I'll try and keep the chat up myself if I can. Depends on how much I'm concentrating. Feels like my power unit's really letting me down. And I was just wondering where Pierre was. Turns out he's right behind me. Careful, they might start chatting to you, Snow Dog, and they might not say nice things. They're just lurkers. Which obviously why did I not have DRS there? I'm obviously very happy to have people even if they're just lurking. But, you know. Snow Dog is right that, you know, a busy chat room is a good chat room. For the most part. Not always, but for the most part. Oh man, I can't do two things at once. Saying people watching start chatting. Blah, blah, blah. I'm on the internet. I'm supposed to be bullied. I don't know if saying you should be bullied is the right approach, but if you're game. So Ocon was holding everybody up. Ricardo's got past him now. At least we actually got DRS that time. Not that it's done us any good. Wow. Ferrari's already in the pits. Oh, come on. Yeah, and that Red Bull sprinted, so Ocon's holding everybody up. If they bully back, it's just going to become a slap fest in the chat.
Yellow flag.
Oh, someone's got a problem. Perez.
Okay, clear. Tyres still looking good, Nick. Let's keep them that way for as long as we can.
Oh, look out. There's now dad comparisons going on. Oh, jeez. That got dark real quick. I expect Bottas to sprint away from us now with superior performance. Still got Pierre right behind us. Let's see how long he stays behind us. We're not going to get any DRS benefit now. No worries if it. I'd say too much information, but any chat's good at the moment. It's all good. So P5, Bottas is in front of us, still on the Ultra. Upset the back of the car when I went over the curb, the first curb. I mean, so at the moment the race isn't too bad for us. So this went morbid really quick, yep. Got dark. Got real dark. So yeah, like I said, like even though we clearly struggled for pace in qualifying, being dead last, it hasn't been a bad race for us in terms of pace. P5. Overtaken some cars, benefited a lot from the pit stops thus far. We're on a one stop, so we'll see how it works out. But anyways, F1, yeah, let's do it. What do you want to talk about? Yeah, Bottas is slowly scurrying away from us, isn't he? When is our stop? Lap 12. Whoa, 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 whoa! Whoa, come on, tyres! Frig off. No, I'm not having that game. That's retarded. Like, I saved it, and then just, nah, don't have any grip. Plus, I was reading a really inappropriate comment from Snowdog at the time. Rosberg looks like a gay person. Okay. He's hiding it really well. His wife's fairly attractive. And he has a child. But, all good. I'm not one to judge. Oh, what I was going to say was that, actually in his wife looks like a fella. Oh, you are trying to get, you are trying to wrangle up the,
It's looking really good. You're managing it well.
Don't have to be the look game. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Fair comment. I've met Nico Rosberg, by the way. Back when he was a Williams driver. Would never have thought he'd go on to become world champion though. Right place at the right time in that Mercedes team. Yep, all they had to do was start throwing casting aspersions at Nico Rosberg's sexuality, and bam, we're in. Chat's going off. I was gonna say though that, in all seriousness, I'm heading off to.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
I'm heading off to Japan in May next year. I bought some flights for that. I also plan on going over at Christmas, a little bit later this year. Obviously, the business that I run, the same business that sponsors this channel, you know, I rely quite heavily on stuff out of Japan, so try and get over there and meet with suppliers and stuff like that. And I was going to take my phone over there and do some IRL streaming, because I love Japan. It's a great place. I've been there a number of times. Try to go there a couple of times a year. Yes, thanks, Snowdog. I do appreciate it. So, yeah, I'll be heading over there, certainly aiming to go there at the end of this year, once I work out my leave situation at work. And I'll take my phone over there and do some IRL streams, some just chatting streams, because obviously I can't play games while I'm in Japan. Only if I go to the arcade, and then I'll get sorely beaten by very, very skillful Japanese people. And then go over there in May, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. You know what? What do I know what? Oh, I've locked up. That's what I know. Mercedes escape. You might be right. Wow, Vettel pit stop in front of us, and he's one stopping. Yeah, I don't have many nice things to say about Mercedes at the moment after Russia. Getting a bin, Mercedes. I think I even tweeted Mercedes to get in a bin. Whoa! And Red Bull to get wins.
Push hard on the in-lap.
I'm not going to say that out loud, but okay. Here, hit me. So we are in this lap, in case you weren't listening to Jeff. Imagine we're going to drop quite a way back, but we'll gain an advantage over those who are two stopping.
Box this lap, please.
The car just doesn't get in anymore. I forgot you're a weeb. Yep, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Should have changed my name to Weeby Moto. Whoa! Guess I should really practice the pit lane when I come to these races. I never ever practiced pit lane entry until my first pit stop of the race. Oh no, I just remembered my grip level. That's not the pit lane, it's a wall. It's the wall of not champions.
Right, some information on Ricardo. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
That's terrific, game. Thank you for that. You did not cost me many positions there at all. At all.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
I'm not currently infuriated and picturing a voodoo doll. That's screwed us, basically. That has cost us a lot of time. A lot of time. I imagine we'll see where it puts us in comparison to Gasly. When he comes out of his pit, but that's cost us a mountain of time. So Gasly's in the pits now. I expected that.
Pierre is in for his stop.
Yeah, I don't care. I only care about where he feeds out. Because he's our benchmark, because he was just around us. There he is. That's how much time we lost in that pit stop. Go frig yourself, game. So really, that's cost us points at this point. You should play on your phone Motorsport Manager. Manage your own F1 team. Yeah, I've got that. I've got that game. I haven't played it very much. Come on, signs. Hold them up.
Fuel target is +1. Faster engine modes are available.
You better catch signs for that rivalry. I made a team called Mercedes. It's the best team ever. Yeah, well, I've got to get Gasly for the rivalry as well. I wonder why. Keep forgetting to turn my Urs back up out of the last corner. Also, the last one is the Toro Rosso never do a full race defense. Love me on that one. Oh, they always barrack for the underdog.
target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
I don't know. I wish they had it. Yeah. Yeah, I wish, yeah. I just wish what happened at Russia hadn't have happened. Yeah. I'm with you there, don't worry. Yeah, I certainly wouldn't cry to see the back end of Mercedes kicked out of the sport. I mean, you know, that's the extreme side of it, but I've just had enough of them as a team. They take the Formula 1 fans for saps. Because I imagine Bottas ending the race and crying because it's in his team. Yeah. Now, any of you who follow me on Twitter would have seen that I was quite vocal in regards to my disdain for Mercedes at Russia. Hope we don't have to sit through any of that crap again. Like, if Mercedes wins, fair enough. But just don't do that. No one celebrates in that when that happens. Wonder if they do it again at Japan. Wouldn't that be a slap in the face? Did I say Twitch was a bitch? I don't recall saying that, but if it's playing up for you, then it's obviously not behaving very well. Oh no, I was hosting a friend on there before and I couldn't watch his stream. Very badly. Here comes Pierre. Damn DRS.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
The more the better. Wow, yeah. That's not good. Things that you said about Bottas crying and team saying go fast. But yeah, I mean, not every team would just tell him to go fast. Obviously, Ferrari's got a history of team orders as well. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a real dick move to rob a driver of a win. As for Bottas crying, I don't know. He doesn't really strike me as the crying type. And all things are relative, but I'm just more worried about the harm it does to the sport. When, you know, the fans can't even celebrate the victory of a driver. Because the driver himself can't celebrate. I really don't want to give this position up to you yet. About the chat being dead, yeah, I don't know what I can do about it. I'm happy to talk if people want to chat. I'm happy to do it. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, they call me Checo Moto. But we're still in the race and we're maximising our results, so it's all good. I try to have points. In fact, I try to get points every race. Oh yeah, I am. I don't know what it is, but I'm clearly not very good around here. I guarantee I'm probably going to be worse at Mexico because I just don't know that track very well.
Of fuel remaining.
Portugal Day. Oh, happy Portugal Day. I don't know how to say that in Portuguese, I'm sorry. Vamos Pierre. No, not on the last lap of the race. Bloody bugger off. I've gone for the whole race and I've got 2 in the last 2 laps, so I think we'll just, I'm not going to take that. That's just laziness more than anything else on my part. I got 1 on the first lap and then 2 in the last 2 laps. Maximised our result.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
There's Toto. After I asked Valtteri to move out of the way. No.
And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
Team orders.
Well, I'd say it's just raw pace, plain and simple. I mean, we could sit here and talk about strategy all day, the overtaking, looking after the tyres. But at the end of it all, if you want to win, you need a package that's got the speed over everyone else. And that's exactly what they had
I don't
today.
think Pierre is going to be that happy after the battle he had with me.
Podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the Drivers' Table.
From
Lewis
18th
Hamilton
to 7th.
takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Mercedes have extended their lead.
So we
at the
maintain
top
our
of the
position
standings.
ahead of Daniel Ricciardo.
Well, what a weekend that has been. Please
Toro
join us
Rosso
next
locked
time
into
for
4th.
another thrilling instalment of this Formula One
There's
season.
Gasly with his measly 33 points. That's a good result. It was a good race at the end of the day, or at the end of the race, or whether the end of the night, whatever you want to call it. But it was good.
Amazing performance.
Thank you, Claire.
You must be really happy.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? Would you say that your rival is still on your level?
I can't say he doesn't have my car, can I?
It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
Maybe they should expect more.
You had a close battle today, didn't you? Appreciate your time.
I'm gonna have to work hard to get back on bloody to catch signs. Oh, look at that! That's a big jump.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
Yeah, Pierre might. Anyway, that'll do. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you particularly those who, Snowdog in particular, who kept the comment section alive, gave it a heartbeat throughout the race and the video. So yeah, that's that. As I said, unlikely to be a video tomorrow with me heading out of town. We'll try and do one on Sunday, but we'll see how we go. Obviously we've got Bathurst 1000 on Sunday, and then also the Japanese Grand Prix. So maybe after that, but like I said, we'll see. But that's your lot. Catch you next time. Bye everyone.